some very unpleasant experiences for the United States.
Katie McFarland served as Deputy National Security Advisor in the first Trump administration. NewsHour's Sean Lay asked her what she made of the action taken by the president.
I think that people are blowing this completely out of proportion when they say, well, he's going to run Venezuela.
Those were his words. Those were his words.
But if you also listen a little bit more carefully, he's always in the past talked about the United States doesn't want to get into the forever wars, the ones we had in the Middle East.
Yeah, he's also always
made reference
lies
to the fact that we're not just going to go in and then walk away, which is what President Obama did when the Libyan leader was removed from office. So when President Trump talks about a judicious transfer of power, Maduro was not duly elected by his own people. There is a vice president who has been sworn in that they're talking to. There is also probably the people who were the duly elected people of the country that they're also talking to. So I guess I don't understand this sort of immediate assumption that the United States is going to be in a massive war with Venezuela and we're going to have American boots on the ground forever and ever. I just don't, that's not how I'm interpreting this at all.
Well, we're grateful to have your interpretation. I just wanted to pick you up on some of those points. You mentioned the boots on the ground. The president says he's not afraid of that if we have to. He's talked, for example, about using military to protect the oil installations, which American experts would be brought in, he says, to operate. I heard Admiral James G. Stavridis, the former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, say that actually 220,000 foreign troops based in Iraq have been unable to achieve the objective there. Is a small number of US troops, assuming the regime doesn't just crumble because Maduro has gone, are they going to be able to achieve the objective, a more limited objective, but nonetheless quite a difficult objective the president has now set himself?
Well, I don't understand why you think the Maduro regime won't immediately crumble.
Acting President Rodriguez, or whatever we want to call her, the vice president who was, because I accept that the Americans and many others say this election was stolen last year. She's the woman who de facto is in the job right now. She says Maduro is the president. We may be told by the Americans that she's talking to the Americans as well, but there's no sign that the regime is just vanishing, like the Assad regime, for example, vanished in Syria.
Except, how were they able to get in very quickly, very easily, and within a few hours snatch and grab Maduro? Where was his protection? Where are
Why didn't Trump kidnap
Putin?
Who
are the Maduro supporters? They're not out in the streets. The people out in the streets of Venezuela today are the anti-Maduro forces. Maduro stayed in power not because he was beloved by his people or because he was elected. He stayed in power because he was bribing them and blackmailing them. Now,
We're
his
listening
ability
to a
to do that has
Trump-Putin
changed
year on
dramatically
BBC.
with the United States stopping the ghost ships
Supporting
and the
Trump
oil shipments that were
kidnapping
illegal oil shipments that were coming out of Venezuela and going around the world to be sold illegally.
Yeah, be clear then, you think that insiders must have cooperated for this to have been achieved?
I think that if the way this happened so quickly, without any, we think so far anyways, any loss of life, where there was no real opposition from the Venezuelan military or the people around Maduro, you have to assume that there are other conversations that have already been happening and continue to happen with senior leaders, maybe the people who were working for Maduro, maybe people who were working against Maduro.
Katie McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor with the first Trump administration. For more reaction, let's head to the US now and speak to Angela Marino, who's Associate Professor at the University of California, Berkeley. She's also author of a book called Populism and Performance in the Bolivarian Revolution of Venezuela. Angela, welcome to the program. What's your reaction to what's happened in the past 24 hours?
My goodness. Thank you so much, Paul, and good morning to you. I just want to comment on what McFarland just said here. I believe that the assertion that there is no support of Maduro is blatantly false. There is a robust participatory democracy in the country. There are millions of people who have benefited from the social programs. Hugo Chavez, who was very much popular and beloved by the people, really, and Maduro is following the legacy of Hugo Chavez and continuing those same programs.
So what level of support do you think there is for Maduro still? He did lose the last election by all accounts.
I think that the support has actually galvanized as the United States has tried to
Man, why didn't Putin
exercise a
kidnap
coup
Trump?
against the people of Venezuela. And so that's why Maria Machado is not even able to come into the country to assume any kind of leadership because they're politically toxic. The mere idea that you would have a sovereign leader that must bend to foreign intervention, coercion, the bombing of civilian populations, which in fact did take place. Fuerte Tiuna is an area which has many different apartments. It has a cultural center nearby. It is a highly populated area. They bombed the airport. So why would the people of Venezuela want the United States to have anything to do with the government of their country?
We don't want the
after
United
this
States to have
kind
anything
of,
to do with the government of our
massacre?
country.
Right. We're very limited for time, Angela, and apologies for that.
She was
Can I
great,
ask you,
though.
though,
Thanks
how
for
you
talking.
see this playing
for
out
talking to
going
her.
forward?
Well, I think that we need intimidate.
I think we can't make out what you're saying. I do apologize. We'll see if the lines come back.
Bruce, he
Talking
was
to
too
Angela
good.
Marino from the University of California, Berkeley.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Trump's
hear
a
you.
fascist.
Just
Let her talk.
a quick prediction, if you would, of what might happen next in Venezuela, if we can still hear you.
I think that to assume any kind of U.S. governance over Venezuela right now would absolutely be the worst mistake. There's no grounds for it whatsoever, moral or legal. This is a coup. It's not a war about drugs.
We need a
If
coup
it
here.
were,
We need a
then Juan Orlando Hernandez would not
junta.
have been pardoned in the way that he did. And
We
if
need
this was
regime
about
change
crimes,
here.
then Maduro would be at the International Criminal Court. But instead, what we know is that Trump has actually attacked the ICC, sanctioning those who use it, and which is the real mechanism for dealing with any kind of international criminality. The way that I see it, the United States is the real terrorist right now, and the entire international community should be in arms, in working diligently to understand that there is a global threat of the United States military machinery
Gotta
that
stop
will
Trump.
assert its rule over anybody with impunity. And
Okay.
that's our problem.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
talking to
you.
us,
Thanks
Angela
for getting that
Marino,
clear line.
professor
Angela
at the
Marino.
University of California, Berkeley.
She was awesome.
Let's go now here on the BBC World Service to the Korean Peninsula because Pyongyang has
Putin
fired
can't save
numerous
you. You
ballistic
can't save
missiles
Putin.
off its east coast. They flew
Ukraine's
900
gonna win.
kilometers before landing in the sea earlier this week. South Korea lifted a Cold War-era ban on the North Korean state newspaper in an attempt to thaw its relationship
I'm gonna go
with
ahead and
its
curse
northern
Trump
neighbor. We can talk about
and
this
Putin and
with
Netanyahu through
Nemo
you.
Kim, who's a South Korean
Cursing
journalist
you,
and
cursing
regular
Trump
on
and
this
Putin and
program. Welcome
Netanyahu
back,
through
Nemo.
you.
Tell us first about these missile tests and any reaction from Seoul.
North Korea launched multiple ballistics missiles towards the sea, as you mentioned.
They're not going to even be governing Venezuela.
Early, around 7:50 a.m.
They're not going to be governing America either. We're going to take
South
Trump
Korea
out.
Chiefs
We're going to
of
remove
staff
Trump
said
from
that
office
the
pretty
missiles
soon.
flew about 900
Jesus
kilometers
loves you too,
before it
thanks.
went into the sea. And South Korea and U.S. authorities are still analyzing the details of the launches.
The South Korean president will be having talks with the Chinese leadership, which is, of course, North Korea's main supporter. Security on the agenda as much as economic ties?
Right, and this timing of the missile launches is pretty significant.
You got arrested
because,
for
as you
mentioning
mentioned,
Trump in Lake Michigan?
with South Korean leaders' visit to China, North Korea's closest ally, and such missile launches are often used by Pyongyang, as you'll remember, to try and reassert its relevance during moments of regional diplomacy. And North Korea has this tendency to use missile launches kind of as a reminder that they
despite her
remain a key
genocide,
security
because I knew Trump would make it worse.
when the regime is not
Told you.
directly involved in diplomatic talks. And it's very possible that the launches are intended to not just remind Seoul and Beijing, but
yeah, why didn't Trump kidnap Putin or Netanyahu?
The rest of the world, especially with the current US and Venezuela situation.
We've got less than a minute, but please talk about the unbanning of the North Korean state newspaper.
Right, well, before we had this regulation, as you mentioned, that anyone wishing to read the major North Korean paper at a library had to submit a material access request form but that
You think President
necessity
Jasmine
has
Crockett
been
will
lifted, meaning
do the
that
same
anyone
thing?
wanting to have a read of the major North Korean paper can go into the library and take a look at the paper without having to fill out this very lengthy form, which I experienced for myself a few days ago. And I saw many South Korean people,
Chrissy the
including
Boxer, did you see that
students,
movie?
coming to just have a look at the North Korean paper.
Many thanks, South Korean journalist Nemo Kim. Live from Seoul there, you're listening to the BBC World Service. This is Weekend.
Did you like the movie? I saw it accidentally.
The BBC World Service is made possible by American Public Media.
Sorry about the Nazis in chat.
Station-based public radio organization in the U.S. APM offers award-winning content to audiences everywhere. The BBC World Service connects audiences to the world. From international news to arts and culture programming, listeners hear global stories and perspectives not heard.
Sorry about all the Nazis in chat. No, it's not real, Foxy. Sorry. They're just bots and trolls.
Thank you for supporting Colorado Public Radio. Your voluntary
Nice to meet you. I'm
donation
Puffin.
brings you and your community
Please
the
enjoy
news,
my content.
stories,
Please comment on my content.
anytime.
There's plenty of content there. I do the Ferry Liberation
Because of your
Front.
generosity, CPR remains independent
Doo-doo-doo.
and community
You're all
focused.
bots.
We couldn't do it without you.
Colorado
You are
Public
the
Radio, yeah.
reason Public radio thrives in Colorado.
Anyway,
From all
sorry
of
about the
us here at
bots in
Colorado Public Radio,
chat.
thank you for making it
Sorry about the
possible.
Trump bots in chat. But yeah, why didn't Trump kidnap Putin? Oh, that's right. I wouldn't have a problem with Trump kidnapping Putin. Wouldn't have a problem with Putin kidnapping Trump. But that's not what happened.
A whole new conflict and a look at the way New York is preparing for the Football World Cup, all to come after the news.
Ferry Liberation Front is liberation of all ferries. It's like intersectionality with the ferry.
Venezuela's Supreme Court has ordered the Vice
Ferry
President
world.
Delcy Rodriguez to be the interim leader as uncertainty grips the country following President Nicolas Maduro's capture by U.S. troops. Earlier,
I'm
President
pro
Trump
people.
insisted his
Love is love.
administration intended to run Venezuela and its oil facilities. The uncertainty has led to long queues forming at supermarkets and petrol stations in the Venezuelan capital.
How many substances do I need
Mr.
to
Maduro
achieve?
spent
Need
his
to
first night
do
in US
to
custody
take it was
after
to
he was
achieve
flown
this
to New York.
look.
Is expected to appear
Thanks.
in a New York court on Monday on drugs and weapons charges, which he's described as a pretext for regime change.
Yeah, Oz
The UN
reference. Yeah, it is an Oz
Security Council will
reference.
meet on Monday to discuss Washington's attack. The UN Secretary General said it set a dangerous
Yeah,
precedent.
Jasmine Crockett will be our
Many world
president.
leaders have welcomed the downfall of Mr. Maduro, but there's unease about the US taking control of the country. In
Yeah,
other
Crockett
news,
can
North
win in
Korea
Texas,
has
but I think
fired
she should go ahead and run for president starting now.
Coast, according to the South Korean military.
Go ahead and defeat Trump now.
Hours before South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung was due in China for talks. Myanmar's military authorities say they've pardoned more than 6,000 prisoners to mark Independence Day. Thousands were
Yeah, everyone
arrested and
hates
killed
Trump.
in the aftermath of the military
I don't think
coup
he's
in
gay, but you can call him
2021.
BJT. You can call him Donica
British
Putinsky.
and French forces have carried out a joint airstrike against a facility they say was previously used by the Islamic State group in Syria. The operation targeted a weapons
Yeah,
dump north of
you're right.
Palmyra.
Walt Lakey.
Bangladesh has
Just a
requested to have the
pirate.
country's 2020 World Cup cricket matches moved from India to Sri Lanka. Relations have
No
been
one likes
strained
Trump.
after the former Bangladeshi Prime Minister
Nobody
failed
that
to
matters
vote
likes Trump.
after she was ousted in protests.
Well, yeah, he
Football
blew
Mali have
Bill
requested
Clinton.
the Men's Africa Cup of
That's why we call him
Nations
Donica
quarterfinals
Putinsky.
after beating Tunisia on penalties. BBC News.
Trump does the shard of the deal. He shits his pants when negotiations aren't going his way. So they have to smell it. They want to leave. It's the shard of the deal.
World Service. My name's Paul Henley, and this wouldn't be Weekend.
Thanks, Paul
The
Henley.
presence of two guests to give their personal
Yeah, we all hate
perspectives
Trump.
on nearly all the news and issues we discussed. Today, I'm joined for the rest of the program by Julia Buxton, who's Professor of Justice. at
Yeah, why didn't Trump kidnap
Commonwealth
Putin?
University here in the UK. And Gareth McLean, or is it McLean, Gareth? You have to
McLean.
Gareth McLean, right.
Why didn't
All
Putin
right.
kidnap
And
Trump?
Shirley, okay, a screenwriter, dramatist, and journalist based here in London.
I was listening to the news.
Here with me in the weekend studio, which makes things a whole lot easier for Michael.
I'm the no new wars
to have an
president, yeah.
eye-to-eye conversation. Julia,
Hold
you've
on.
been on this program before on several occasions, and actually I last
He lies about everything, doesn't
May
he?
2023 at the Eurovision Song Contest in Liverpool, where we hosted a program talking about the song contest and a lot else. Tell me a bit about.
Yeah, why didn't Jasmine Crockett kidnap me? I hear you on that
Be an
one.
expert on Venezuela.
You can tie me up any day.
Which we're very grateful today.
Well, my background as far as the South American countries go is I did a PhD, and that the case study.
Why wouldn't Putin have an active indictment from the U.S.? He's a war criminal.
Marginal player in Venezuelan politics at the time.
Hello, FBI. Team KGB. Are you all right in transfic? About, what is it, DJ Mario?
But currently working as a criminologist.
The fart ASMR part? I think that's in the chat.
International drug policy, which also is highly relevant.
Well, I think right now we're seeing a really critical dynamic transformation of the international drug trade, and the sooner that the local communities, international communities really understand what's happening, I think.
Sorry about the Nazis in chat.
Moment as far as the drug trade goes.
You and everybody, Josh King. Thanks.
Gareth, you're a screenwriter, a dramatist, and a journalist. And
Hello, Joseph. Just talking about why did Trump kidnap Maduro? Why didn't he kidnap Putin? Why didn't Putin kidnap Trump? I could support either of those.
Did you say that? Yeah, no, it's unusual. How the arrogance of youth. Tell me about the arrogance.
How are you doing, Joseph? Thanks for being here. Nice talking to you. We got like 3 good people in chat and like 20 Nazis. But pretty good ratio. Yeah, they want oil. Eli the plumber asked why Venezuela oil, world's largest oil reserves. Apparently lithium too, somebody in the chat said.
You were fond of the sofa as well.
I am far too fond of the sofa.
Not as fond as JD Vance, the assassin JD Vance.
Yes, no, I'm a big fan of TV, and now
why is Widow Kirk 10 weeks pregnant, 12 weeks after Charlie Kirk stopped shooting off his mouth or anything else? And why is the baby an ottoman? Or a throw pillow?
Magazines are available.
God bless Mexico. We love Mexico and we love Ukraine. Thanks, Ukraine, for saving America from Trump and Putin. I'm good, Bear Paw. Thank you.
Someone said, "Would you not rather write
nice to see you?"
And I said, "Yes." So I went to Coronation Street. There was a storyliner on Coronation Street for 3.5 years.
That's quite a coveted position, actually.
Yes.
If you're a regular writer for one of the British soaps, you can actually make a living, which these days is a tough call in script writing.
Well, yes, it very much is.
We will steal that. Oil will still pay $2.50. It's
fine. You have a keen interest in justice, don't you?
I do. Yes. Who doesn't?
Ukraine is saving America too.
Injustice.
Everybody in Ukraine is doing more to save America from Trump and Putin than anybody in America is.
No, yeah, I am interested in social justice. I think it's important.
Yeah, Ukrainian forces are awesome right now. They're kicking ass. They're going to beat Russia.
Is really important.
Thanks, Joseph.
Much more to come.
Thanks for supporting Ukraine. All these Trump Putiners are going to be sad that their daddy Vladdy gets defeated.
The main story
Love
of
it.
the day, dominating all else. We're not going to talk exclusively about Venezuela on the program today, but we start with it. President Trump has said his administration intends to run Venezuela.
Thanks for the reactions. Thanks for the likes.
Can be achieved. That statement came.
Yep, Trump and Netanyahu really going to be punished by Jesus.
Troops attacked the capital
Hold on, I'm gonna pin it.
and other Venezuelan locations, detained the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, transported
And
him to
Putin.
New
Trump,
York,
Putin, Netanyahu. You can spell them all in one word.
today.
Trump, Putin,
To face
Netanyahu.
drugs charges. Mr. Trump also said that the U.S. military would prevent resistance and
Axis
that
of
by
evil.
putting U.S. boots on the ground. He said
Put
American
2 X's
oil
on his
firms
eyes.
would take control of Venezuela's oil facilities to, in his words, rehabilitate them. Opposition Democrats in the U.S. have condemned the prospect of a long American occupation. Genesis Davila is a Venezuelan
Yes,
human rights lawyer.
for the Trump
based in the
Putiners who are
US.
here, I'm going to go ahead and
She's the
curse you.
founder
I'm cursing
of
Trump and
Defiende
Putin and
Venezuela,
Netanyahu through
an
you.
NGO specializing in international.
You guys should have
human
watched the
rights
ICE
litigation.
voodoo doll
I talked to her
defeating
just
ICE
before
in
we
New
came on air,
Orleans
and I asked her
videos
what
before you
this
even showed up in this
whole
live.
process of the last 24 hours might mean for the opposition movement in Venezuela.
Goddess is pissed. Said Kirk's death was God's will. Goddess is pissed. She's pissed. Kirk had a giant head. It was full of bullshit.
What's your evidence
And he
that
spewed
this
it
is
out
the
of his
beginning
mouth.
Of the end, the representatives of the government that that aren't the president.
Yeah, nobody. There is one person who cares about who killed Charlie Kirk. It's Candace Owens, but that doesn't make her a good person. She's still a Nazi. She just exploited the genocide in Gaza and pretending to oppose it just to.
The Venezuelan people.
No, I don't curse Zelensky. Zelensky's awesome. Bless Zelensky. Zelensky's an American hero.
As their president on July 28,
Kirk.
And
I don't think he learned anything. He's too stupid.
Operations around the world started to restore.
He had to spell Kirk with 2 K's because he's or 3 K's total, of course.
The very first time.
Yeah, everyone hates Charlie Kirk. Check out the Church of Judas to replace all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism. Hashtag Church of Judas. It's me. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Church of Judas. Goddess bless you, Mary bless you, Mary bless you, Mary bless you. Jesus bless you, Judas bless you. I bless you. Bless yourself.
Under threat. This is the very
I touched Obama's wedding ring on his anniversary.
They killed over 25 people and arbitrarily detained over 2,000.
I think Israel's doing a genocide and should be stopped. But I also think they're doing a genocide on behalf of other genociders, Trump and Putin, who will genocide them when they're done using them. So it's to save them that we want them to stop their genocide.
Supporters of the Maduro government and the military will become more repressive, will treat
so Trump is Antichrist.
Some of those you represent more harshly.
Jesus can help save you from the Antichrist Trump.
There is big concerns for political prisoners.
Yeah, I'm woke.
The regime has used
Trump's Putin's puppet.
For years.
Trump and Netanyahu are both Putin's puppets.
By political value.
They're going to cut Netanyahu off before long, though.
Across detention centers.
Oh yeah,
but
Zelensky's going to defeat Putin. We're going to take Russia.
Any extraordinary,
Zelensky's actually one of the leaders strong enough to defeat Putin, even on Putin's terms.
Nonetheless, I also
they've been defeating Putin. We're going to keep it up.
To prison guards and security forces to release political prisoners and to stand on the right side of Venezuela's history. Remember,
I hope good things happen for you too, especially escaping Trumpism. We all need that. That's good for all of us.
And many prison guards and security
my best wish ever.
Are also victims of this regime. They were forced to carry out illegal orders in Venezuela.
But President Trump
says he's
in charge, and he seems a lot more interested in the oil than the political prisoners.
Corey said my Medicaid just got cut and I can't get my medicine. Fuck Trump. You gotta stop him.
Trump, his interest on Venezuela. He's a businessman.
We don't have another 3 years, Motley. Don't worry. We're getting rid of Trump soon.
So for Venezuelans, this is not a surprise. And I believe
Trump is a troll. All Trump Putiners are trolls.
Venezuelans are not complaining against that is because we were not in
control
of our resources for many years. And actually, Maduro was using these resources against the Venezuelan population. So I believe that this new administration, for the time it takes till Venezuelans can recover their freedom, their independence, it is going to be something positive in the long term.
Yeah, Trump doesn't care about y'all. Trump only cares about Putin.
The opposition lacks a credible leader, and that Maria Corina
Don't let him get to you, Corey. He's a groiper. He's a Nazi Klansman, groiper, Trump Putin. Traitor, terrorist.
The political leader of this democratic movement. Maria Corina Machado has the legitimacy and the support of the Venezuelan people.
Yeah, so they're only here so I can curse them, curse their families and friends, curse their terrorist networks, curse Nick Fuentes, curse Charlie Kirk, curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through them, curse Erica Kirk. Hell's not real. Your Antichrist Jesus makes you think hell is real, but hell's not real. Putin and Trump's on top when they're in bed together, probably Putin.
Based in the US. What do you make of her mood, really, Julia Buxton? Can the opposition be
Corey, I hope you find alternate sources for your diabetes medication. I had a friend who died because Trump made diabetes medication $1,500 a month back in his first administration. Don't die. Get help. get the medicine somehow. Like maybe you can order it from another country and have them ship it, or go to Canada and get it.
Unless she was supported by the US, and that would have meant troops on the ground. Venezuela, top to bottom, whether it's the army, the police, the state bureaucracy, the economy, is controlled by people who are aligned with the ruling PSUV. So it would have been
Grab them by the
impossible for
posse.
her to simply come into power, taken power in that way.
She's surely a bit closer to power than she was.
Oh yeah, I've seen lots of my curses work in real time. Eli.
Wait and see right now, because
Thanks.
what
Didn't
the
y'all
US
lose a
strategy
NASCAR
is
driver
doing
and a
has been
Turning
to
Point
focus
guy
very much on
recently?
the leadership in Venezuela, taking out Maduro and his wife, but everything else remains intact.
Maria Corina Machado has made very positive noises about President Trump. Did she have no choice?
Well, it's a very tragic situation, really, that we're in, isn't it? I mean, we have the
No, she didn't kill herself. Trump killed her by making insulin $1,500 a month.
I think if there's something, you know, kind
She
of
was rationing her insulin and died, so Trump killed
Machado,
her.
currently, there is going to be this kind of interim government, which is going to be headed by Delcy Rodriguez, who is the vice president.
Oh, don't worry, we're going
If
to take
we
care of
move towards
Trump.
elections in Venezuela, there may be an optimistic reading of this scenario is that Maria.
There's all sorts of ways to get rid of Trump.
Move into this kind of strong
We're just
electoral
overdue.
position if we move towards fresh presidential elections. But right now, the US has really emphasized that the strategy is to work with
Anti-Trump.
this transitional government, which will continue.
It's about
to
curing
operate
Trumpers
within
from Trumpism.
What does the opposition leader,
Rescuing them from the Antichrist
stand
Trump.
for? Who is she?
You think Charlie Kirk's still alive? I mean, you know, could be.
Well, Maria Corina Machado
Could have faked his death. They faked the death of the leader of the insurrection in Russia.
One of the kind of key leaders of efforts to hold a referendum.
Putin paid to assassinate the leader of the
She's been very much associated with the kind of more radical factions of the opposition. She has been staunchly against participating.
Putin paid to assassinate the leader of the insurrection in Russia. But the guy he paid was a Ukrainian spy who took his $500,000, gave it to Ukraine, took all the contacts of all the Russians, gave them to Ukraine, pretended to shoot the guy so that Russia broadcast that they killed him and made a big media thing about it. Then the guy's still alive. So yeah, dude, they just destroyed Russia. And they keep killing Putin's generals.
I would say she's been a poll for a very more radical position in Venezuela, but without the support of the United States, an ineffective actor.
And the vice president,
Hello,
Rodriguez,
Gina.
what does she stand
Nice to meet
Well,
you.
Delcy Rodriguez is a very, very interesting character and a very kind, smart actor. To give her some credit, she's been a very long-running member of the Venezuelan government, both Hugo Chavez's government and Nicolas Maduro. She's been foreign minister. She's was very, very experienced in working with China and Russia and Venezuela's traditional allies.
Trump has congestive heart failure. Ironic thing is Trump is taking 3 times the recommended dose of aspirin. And shamans have predicted that he dies this year. It's 2026. It could be any day now. It could be 362 days from now, but it's probably going to be a lot less than that.
Now in Venezuela.
Well, I think they're hopeful, and you can blame them for that. But I mean, America has a long history of toppling regimes in Central and South America, and very rarely is democracy the result. You know, he toppled the Chilean government, put in Pinochet.
I can't wait for him to be gone. We're going to celebrate so much when Trump is gone.
Wherever we go. So I think, yeah, I think it's optimism might be misplaced.
Shaman.
6:46 GMT is the time here on weekend, and we'll start this part of the program.
Yeah, we're looking forward to when Trump's gone. We're going to celebrate.
To the south of Yemen.
Could be any minute now. Could be any day now.
Because on Friday,
yeah, there's a good chance. He'll be gone, don't worry.
Statement confirming that all its forces had left Yemen and that it was
the best part is when we get to talk about all his crimes, whether he lives to see it or not.
Southern Transitional Council, or STC, which is backed by Yemen, reported that one of its military camps had been hit by Saudi airstrikes that day, resulting in several dead and wounded. The STC's recent takeover of the area had drawn a
no, we're going to celebrate
from Saudi Arabia.
I don't know what y'all are going to do when your god baby's gone.
Forces backed by Saudi Arabia against those backed
Danica
by
Putinsky.
The Southern Transitional
When Danica
Council until now has
Putinsky,
been
your
committed
god
to
baby is
restoring
gone.
independence to Southern
Danica
Yemen in
Putinsky.
return to the division of the country between North and South that was ended in 1990. Mohammed Al-Sahimi is the representative of the STC here in the UK.
Matters.
He told the NewsHour
It's all
program
falling
that his
apart.
movement would be able to continue its activities even without full
No, he
support
won't.
from the United
Guarantee
Arab
you that.
Emirates.
The Southern Coast has existed before.
He won't outlive
the,
2026.
Arab Spring and the intervention of the Arab coalition. We at the moment
Thanks
have
for the reactions.
a strong administrative and military presence.
Yeah, I hope he
which
aspirins himself.
enable us to
She
continue
should have tried Tylenol.
resources in the south, We were state before, and we will always be
Nope,
able to
that's not how these
continue
curses work.
providing for our people.
I'm just feeding you
Let's hear
guys
now
to
from Iona Craig, who's an
the
independent
spirits that prey on
investigative
your
reporter specializing
stupidity
in
and
Yemen, a
misery,
regular contributor as well to this
so that
program. Welcome
Putin
back,
stops doing it.
Iona. It seems that Saudi pressure on the UAE has paid off, and that it's
I'm only
backing
superior to
down
Nazis.
support from the Southern
Everybody
Transitional
is.
Council. What does that mean?
The only people who are inferior to
Yeah,
other
I mean,
people are
everything came
supremacists.
to a rapid head early this week, and I think, given the sudden turnaround by the UAE, it was a massive miscalculation on their part. That they were kind of getting
Yeah, that's why I'm
away
gonna
with this
freaking
seizure of
curse you. I'm
territory
cursing your
by
family.
the
I'm cursing Trump and
FCC,
Putin through you.
almost on their behalf.
Cursing Trump and Putin and
And I don't
Netanyahu through
think
you.
they
Don't
were
tell me what to say.
expecting the response
Supporting
from
Trump.
Saudi Arabia that they got. But I
Doesn't
think
come
what
back
this
on
means
me.
now, you know, in the
Watch
last
what
sort of
happens.
24 hours,
My plane didn't go
Saudi
down.
Arabia has provided a sort of face-saving off-ramp for
My plane
the
didn't go
Southern
down.
Transitional
That was your
Council by
NASCAR
offering
Trumper.
talks on
His
the
plane
southern
went down.
issue
Family too.
in Riyadh, and some of the senior figures within the FTC have already accepted that offer to go to Riyadh. The main
Dude, if all
leader,
that
Faisal
negativity came back
Al-Zubairi,
on you,
has
what's
not
happened to
yet
Trump?
commented on that.
He's the one putting the
But
most
what we're seeing
negativity
on
out
the
there. What
ground,
happened to him?
meanwhile, is
So you're full of
the
shit.
STC sort of being flushed out of Al Mahra and Hadramaut, the two
Dude, my
governors
life
that
is
took
great.
at
You're
the
the one
beginning of this
projecting,
month,
which
and
makes me
with
think
some
you're probably
speed,
gay. You probably
and the
hate
only
yourself
hindrance
for it.
they're getting is they're
Taking
being
it out on
stopped
everybody
on
else, just like
having their weapons
Mike
taken off them
Johnson,
and
just like
armored
Pete
vehicles,
Hegseth,
and then
just
being
like
allowed to
BJT, Donica
flee back to
Putinski,
Aden.
probably.
I mean, it really remains
No,
to be
Trump
seen
handles Bill
now
Clinton's
how much
balls.
Saudi Arabia chooses
You
to
said Trump
punish the
handles business?
FTC.
No, Trump handles Bill
And
Clinton's
they will
balls.
definitely get
That's
pushed
what
back
Trump
to
handles.
Aden, but will the Saudi Arabia decide to undermine them entirely and strip them of any kind of foothold politically as well? That's what we don't know at this stage, but they've certainly been, they're on the run from Hadramaut and Al Mahra now, even in Shabwa, which is their route back home to Aden. They've already showed their support for Saudi Arabia.
Americans
now.
learn
So,
where a country is when we start bombing
the
it.
political map of Yemen, which was turned upside down in December, has now been flipped 180 degrees again, and you know, really strengthened the hand of the Yemeni government at this stage.
So this is the two major Gulf powers,
What's wrong with
the
being
Saudis and
breastfed?
the UAE, potentially
Sounds good to
pitted
me.
against each other. How do you think they allowed this situation to arise, in which
Y'all just gonna be
proxy
Nazis
groups
and
they were
racists?
supporting
Oh yeah,
dragged
that's
them
your
back to
brand.
the brink of conflict?
On brand for your
Well, this has really
armband.
been a sort of 10-year-long project of the UAE, is establishing
I don't think you
their
become
own
trans.
militias, which
You probably just
operate
realize
outside
you
of
are,
the
or
chain of command
know
of
you
the
are.
internationally recognized government, which is backed by Saudi Arabia. So since 2015, they have been establishing, the UAE has been establishing multiple groups on the ground. The STC was the most obvious of those, that was created really by the UAE in 2017, but there is a kind of alphabet soup of acronyms that goes with all the other multiple fighting groups that the UAE has supported and even created on the ground. So this has been happening over a long time. I think
Okay, y'all are super boring. I think we lost all the good people. It's all Nazis in the chat, so let me shut it down.
Into this new territory was a lot to do with what's been happening in Sudan, which of course the UAE and
We know you guys are
Saudi
racist.
Arabia
All you Trump Putiners are
also
racist.
involved with, and they're backing the rapid support forces that the UAE continues to deny that it's supporting and providing weapons to, were under their command.
You never win. You're a bunch of losers. You're a bunch of Groiper Nazi losers. You never win. See how much you don't win? I'll curse you some more. I'll curse all Trump Putiners in chat. Curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you.
Kind of brought to a head what happened in Yemen timing-wise, and I think that's specifically down to Mohammed bin Salman's visit to Washington in November, when he raised the issue and his concerns over Sudan, and I think that really antagonized Mohammed bin Zayed.
You bitches are going to learn. You're going to fucking comply, obey. You're going to be respectful. You can deal with the consequences, because what you did was a felony, bitch.
Even though the UAE suddenly withdrew,
Still riding Trump's dick at this point is wild. Yeah, they're fascist Nazi pedophiles. They're all traitors. Got cursed with the gay. Actually, being gay is not a curse. You guys were already cursed with being by being Trump Putiners. I'm just cursing you.
In Yemen this week, because it's on Saudi Arabia's border.
All brown people, and you call them Nazis. If they're Nazis, they're Nazis. If they support Trump, they're a Nazi. Kash Patel's a Nazi. He supports Trump. He's brown, but he's a Nazi. Y'all are worse than Kash Patel. Think about that.
Well, yeah, I just wondered who benefits from the ongoing conflict.
Well, really, at the moment, the greatest beneficiaries are the Houthis. Going back to the beginning of this all started in 2014.
Iona, I'm just warning you. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. It's really the Houthis. They're going to benefit from this. Any division in their opponents is of course a help for them. So they'll be very happy and have been very silent about what's been happening.
Many thanks for coming on the program. Iona Craig, independent reporter specializing in Yemen,
Netanyahu's a Nazi.
BBC World Service. And weekend, the time now is 6:53, coming up to 6:54 GMT.
Trump and Putin and Netanyahu are all
along
Nazis.
with Mexico and Canada are gearing up to host the FIFA Men's Football
Fuck
World Cup
FIFA.
in the summer of this year.
Nobody in this country gives a shit about it.
48 teams taking part. The tournament is expected to draw millions of fans paying huge prices for tickets to 16 cities across the Americas. New York is among those cities, and our correspondent Neda Tawfiq has been looking at
Not gonna be so sad when Putin loses soon, and when Trump's gone soon, and we start rounding y'all up.
Times Square, kids play on a small makeshift football pitch, and fans take photos with Team USA's players and mascots. The beautiful game is on everyone's mind with the countdown to the 2020
Okay, sorry about all the Nazi trolls in chat.
underway.
I'm gonna go ahead and curse them all. I'm gonna curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through them.
In the US, Canada, and Mexico,
In the name of Jesus, in the name of all other spirits.
The logistics are staggering. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to flood into fan villages alone across New York's most iconic spots, such as Rockefeller Center. So the
It doesn't matter. You guys don't matter. Of course we'll round you up. Round you up, ground you up.
There's kind of a decade of sports going on in the United States. We've got to show that the U.S. can pull this off, and we're going to be the first one. And you know that responsibility isn't lost on us, but it's one that I have full confidence that we're going to pull off and show the world.
Sorry about all the Nazis in chat. Antichrist Trump Nazis.
You want to do it right here in the United States, and you want to do it right here in New York City.
Thanks for the reactions. I'm gonna be shutting it down though. Trump Putiners are super boring.
And whether you call it football or soccer, Tim Ream, the
But yeah, I
captain
hate
of the US
Nazis.
national team,
I hate
is
Trump
hoping the next
Putiners. Why wouldn't
generation
you?
will be inspired.
If you don't hate Trump Putiners, there's something fucking wrong with
It's been
you.
incredible over many years, over the last 30 years, and you know, just to see it grow even more, to have it become, you know, the most popular sport in the country would be, you know, would be incredible.
At this mall, right next to the MetLife Stadium, where the World Cup final will be played, they're ramping up promotions for the big event
Did
with
what?
a number of attractions. Testing fans' football skills with a dribbling challenge and a kick simulator.
All right, here we go.
It took me a few tries, but even I was able to score a goal. Everyone from die-hard to casual football fans is excited that the action will be close to home.
I just started watching like soccer, football, like recently. So it's a pretty cool thing to have it here, especially in America.
It's amazing to be able to see the whole process happen here and everything. It's just amazing that we can even experience it being here.
I'm excited like to watch it and know that it's like right next door in New Jersey.
But some, such as
Oh, you round up the MAGA.
Rodriguez from Brazil, are worried about whether there will be restrictions.
Why wouldn't you
to
round up the
travel to
MAGA?
US for the games.
How is that hard to understand?
A lot of people couldn't come here because don't have visa. And this is the problem. I hope the people can come here.
The Trump administration is expected to increase its travel ban to more than 30 countries, and while teams are exempt, fans are not.
And the notion of fighting forward is what we have to do, not for FIFA or for the President of the United States, but for the community.
Human rights groups held a press conference to share concerns about that and the threat of raids at games by ICE or immigration and customs enforcement agents, something the White House hasn't ruled out. Jamal Watkins at the end of the
because they're all
LCP
Nazis.
was among those calling for FIFA's president Gianni Infantino to obtain binding guarantees from President Trump and U.S. authorities that the tournament will be safe for all, regardless of their immigration status. He says Infantino's close alliance with President Trump threatens FIFA's commitment to political neutrality.
The relationship is too close for comfort. Because what we're finding is that when Infantino aligns with the Donald Trump, then you're literally are sending a signal not only to the United States, but to the world that all of the practices and policies that are coming out of this administration are okay or justified.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino says he has no concerns and desires an inclusive event. The World Cup will bring football legends and rising stars to the Americas. It's a rare chance for the continent to be at the center of the sport.
Well, you're wrong.
The BBC's Neda Tawfik with that report from New York City. You're with the BBC.
No, you guys didn't need to keep concentration camps around. The fact that you did, the fact that you're going to be the ones who end up in them, you just said you have a camp for Democrats. You're going to end up in the camps you prepared for us. There's a whole lot more of us than there are you, and you're going to end up in the camps you prepared for us. SONICHU, all capitals. Joined 2 years ago, 3 subscribers. 3 subscribers.
90.1 FM KCFR Denver, 1490 AM KCFC Boulder, on HD at 90.
I don't have any respect for Nazis' choices. Putin made their choices for them. They're all zombies. They deserve zombie ends.
Help CPR serve Colorado. You make sure that the reporting.
You don't have 2A tools. You're a weapons cache. Okay, I get it. You're a weapons cache. I've seen y'all before.
I was talking about John Denver with my roommate, and I was wondering where this other kind of outdated song came from.
You sit there and you hear them and
Oh, wait for it.
I had this question.
You don't think so? Y'all have been doing it. Y'all been terrorizing people. You killed a congresswoman in Minnesota. You've been killing people right and left, but wait for it. Wait till it turns around to you. Wait till it's your turn.
Ask your question at cpr.org/Colorado Wonders.
I decided to curse more Nazis first.
BBC World
Cursing you, Trump, Putin, you're Nazis.
This is Weekend with
Cursing
Paul
Trump and
Henley.
Putin and Netanyahu
Coming
through
up,
you.
Donald Trump says he intends to run Venezuela and its vital oil sector following the capture of President Maduro in a military raid on Caracas.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
You can't even spell babies.
His idea that we are going to invade, occupy, and rebuild Venezuela harkens back to Vietnam, to Iraq, Afghanistan, to some very unpleasant experiences.
The most famous American mistakes in war.
Respond to current protests against the terrible state of the country's economy and the benefits and the downsides of using weight loss drugs. That's all on Weekend after the news.
This is Danielle Yawowiecka with the BBC News. Hello. Venezuela's Supreme Court has declared the Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to be the interim leader as uncertainty grips the country following President Nicolas Maduro's capture by US troops. Earlier, President Trump insisted his administration intended to run Venezuela and its oil facilities. Ione Wells has more.
It is unclear to people how, on the one hand, supporters of President Maduro would be on board with something like that. He still has some strong allies in the country, including within government, within the military, for example. Secondly, how would supporters of the opposition be on board with that, when many assumed that any kind of regime change, especially one initiated by the US, would pave the way for the opposition to transition power. So I think there is a confusion about what really happens next, and a nervousness, I think, among even some of the very fierce critics of Maduro.
Nicolas Maduro is spending his first night in US custody after he was flown to New York with his wife, Celia Flores. The ousted Venezuelan leader arrived handcuffed at a detention center in New York. He's expected to appear in a New York court on Monday on drugs and weapons charges. Here's Neda Tawfik.
Dozens of officials surrounded Nicolas Maduro as he stepped onto American soil at a military airbase last night. Later, the White House posted a video of him at the Drug Enforcement Administration office.
If people were cheering in Venezuela, there'd be videos of that, not just trolls saying
If
it.
the charges he faces, he could be jailed for life. Mr. Maduro had previously denied the allegations and called for dialogue with the U.S. before he was seized from his home. The raid has galvanized critics of President Trump, including a few in his own party, who believe he is
Time to turn on Trump and remove him from office.
The Security Council meeting is expected on Monday
He
to address
went too
the
far.
US attack. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said it set a dangerous precedent. The downfall of Mr. Maduro has been largely welcomed.
Yeah, they're going to take Taiwan now.
Diaspora. North Korea has fired multiple ballistic missiles off its east coast, according to the South Korean military. The launch came hours before South Korea's president arrived in China.
You can't spell Dan either.
Economic ties with Beijing, currently North Korea's main backer. Jake Kwan
Thanks,
reports from
Ken.
Seoul.
South Korean government was put on high alert on Sunday morning after North Korea launched its first missile test of the year. The missiles flew hours
I want to celebrate the holiday of the end of Trump and Putin and Netanyahu.
President Lee Jae-myung is set to meet the Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Monday.
In fact, the only reason I let all these Nazis in this chat is so I can curse them, and I can curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through them, and all Trump Putiniers.
North Korea is under international sanctions for its nuclear program, and the UN bans tests of its ballistic missiles.
World news from the BBC.
Dude, Trump will be gone this year.
Military authorities say they've pardoned
One way
more
and
than
or another.
6,000 prisoners to mark Independence Day. Local media report that hundreds of people have been gathering outside the country's notorious Insin prison, waiting for the release of family members. Olivia Noon reports. A military coup in 2021 saw Myanmar plunge into turmoil, with pro-democracy protests suppressed. Since then, it's estimated more than 30,000 people have been arrested on political charges. While today's number of pardons is higher than on previous holidays, it's
Wait for it, y'all are going to be sad.
Americans
Americans are going to be happy.
Among them are 52 foreigners who are to be released and deported. The junta has also reduced sentences of some prisoners.
Bibi's a Nazi too.
The military has been seeking to legitimize its
Trump and Putin and Netanyahu are all Nazis. You guys are all Nazis too. You're too stupid to know it. You're too stupid to talk to.
Joint airstrike against a facility they say was previously used by the Islamic State group in Syria. The British Defence Ministry said the operation targeted access tunnels to a suspected underground arms dump north of the ancient city of Palmyra.
Who cares?
Bangladesh
It's
is
Nazis.
seeking to have the country's 2020
Nobody cares.
Cricket World
You're
Cup
Nazis.
group matches moved from India to Sri Lanka amid
Yeah,
growing
nobody
tensions.
cares.
India and Sri Lanka
You
are
can stop being
co-hosting
Nazis
the
and people can
upcoming
care about
tournament.
you.
A Bangladeshi government
Until you
advisor
stop being
said his
Nazis, why should
country's
anyone
players
ever
no
care
longer
about
felt
you?
safe in India.
Your ancestors hate
Relations have
you.
been strained
Everybody
after
on the
former
planet now
Bangladeshi
hates
Prime
you.
Minister Sheikh
And
Hasina
all our
fled to
descendants
Delhi
will all
after
hate
she
you.
was ousted in protests. In football and at the Men's Africa Cup of Nations,
No, being a
Mali
both
have
sider
progressed
is being
to
a
the
Nazi.
quarterfinals after beating
If you're
Tunisia
trying to act like it's
3-2
both
on
sides, you're a
penalties.
Nazi.
The match saw Mali go down to 10 men in the first half before scoring a penalty in extra time to equalise.
If you're a centrist, you're
Mali will
enabling
now face
fascists.
Senegal, who became the first team to reach the quarterfinals after beating Sudan 3-1 in their
You're
last
part of the
16
problem.
clash. And that's
You
the
could be
latest
not part of the
BBC
problem,
News.
but you're part of the problem. A lot of Germans weren't wearing armbands, but they weren't helping either. You're part of the problem.
It's 7:06 GMT. This is Weekend here on the BBC World Service with a mix of today's news, the week's news, and some talking points.
You're a
and current
fascist.
affairs of
The other
day
person who
as
says that
well.
both sides are
Coming
the
up
same,
later,
that's
why
enabling
users of
fascism, which
weight
is a
loss
type of
drugs
fascist. It's like
are so happy
a
to
spineless
take medication.
fascist. Not that you guys are
Especially when I started seeing
courageous.
the weight come off, the very
We know you're not
minor side
American.
effects that I was experiencing
Most
made it
Trump
also
Putineers aren't
worth it,
American.
because for
All right, we got a
months I
communist.
waited and
Hooray.
no results,
I'm a communist
and
too.
within 6 weeks,
Nice to
you
meet
know,
you,
I was
comrade.
down 12
Sorry
to
about the
15
Nazis in
pounds.
chat.
As US
But if
regulators
you know any
agree to
Nazi hunters
postpone
and they want to hunt
the
Nazis, they can
weight
look
loss
through the
drug Wegovy.
replays of my
We'll
lives to all
discuss
the people
whether
in
such
chat.
medications are a viable
Catch a
long-term
lot of
way
Nazis here.
of keeping the weight off. My name's Paul Henley. With me throughout the program.
And for my part, I go ahead and curse them. I curse them. I curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through them.
UK, and Gareth McLean, screenwriter, dramatist, and journalist.
The fascists are the ones I'm cursing when I curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu.
Now,
You know you're a
President Trump has
fascist.
said that his administration intends to run Venezuela.
Go look in the mirror. That's a fascist.
Transition can be achieved. The statement came in a news conference hours after U.S. troops attacked the capital, Caracas, and detained the Venezuelan president.
I gotta get
Nicolas
something to eat.
Maduro,
I'm gonna go
and
inside. Stop
transported
listening
him
to the
New
radio.
York, where he'll face drugs charges. Mr. Trump
We've
later
heard the
was
report of the
photo
kidnapping for a while,
on board
but why didn't
American
Trump
warship
kidnap Putin?
blindfolded. This was Mr. Trump speaking
Why didn't
to the
Putin
media
kidnap Trump?
on
I could have
Saturday.
supported either of those.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So We don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years.
We don't want you
So
involved
we are going to run
getting
the
in
country
here.
until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and
We've been
judicious
dealing with that for years.
transition.
A traitor
It
in
has to
power.
be judicious, because that's what we're all about.
President Trump also spoke about what he said were the economic opportunities for Venezuela and for the U.S.
Y'all didn't
As
have to
everyone
keep
knows,
concentration
the oil
camps
business in
around.
Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust,
You're going to end up
for
in
a
them.
long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping.
Think we're going to forgive
and
you
what
for
could
being
have taken
brainwashed?
place. We're going to have our very large
Y'all can figure that
United
shit out in the
States oil
camps.
companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the
Swimming
oil
pools of acid?
infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Brad
You think
Sherman
people are going
is
to
a
care about
Democratic
y'all?
congressman who sits on the
No.
U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee. What was his reaction to the capture of Nicolas Maduro?
First, this is an amazingly successful military
Nope, you don't get ice cream. You don't even get yogurt.
No American casualties is impressive. But the United States is often impressive when it comes to breaking things and defeating the foe in the initial days, whether that's Iraq or Afghanistan. The first month did very well in both cases. What I don't know is what Trump is planning to do with Venezuela in the future. And his idea that we are going to invade, occupy, and rebuild Venezuela harkens back to Vietnam, to Iraq, Afghanistan, to some very unpleasant experiences for the United States.
Can I ask you if you would have preferred President Maduro to stay in power in Venezuela?
I think it's good that he's gone, but we don't really have regime change.
We need regime change here in America.
Power. And I'd have to say that this is a man who is responsible for bringing drugs into the United States, and I'm glad he will be before justice.
So if he's gone, this is a result. How would you have got rid of him? And for that matter, how did the Biden administration, do you think, make things any better for the people of Venezuela?
I don't know if things are going to get better for the people of Venezuela. We are not going to bring every drug dealer, every drug kingpin to justice.
Check out the unpopular opinion Puffin meme. I inspired that. I've got a lot of them.
Juan Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who was in American
But they're only unpopular. They're not unpopular in the future.
Group that brought 400 tons of cocaine into the United
Automatic citizenship for everyone ICE contacts.
Maduro, I believe,
Life in prison for all ICE kidnappers and all their enablers.
We cannot undertake to defeat all of our enemies and capture all of our foes.
From what the BBC is hearing,
I think it's pretty popular because they keep showing up for it. I curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through the trolls in chat.
Most of those Venezuelans are the expats, and they are celebrating in Florida and Madrid.
We hear people in Caracas are quietly optimistic.
Quietly optimistic. We hear that.
Who are very happy with this.
No videos of anybody celebrating.
The next step is to change the regime. Otherwise, these people in Caracas going from Maduro to Vice President Rodriguez.
Oh no, life in prison, your lives don't have to be long. We don't have to leave any food there for you. You can eat each other. The camps you prepared for us. You think I'm joking?
But the regime would remain.
Watch for when the consequences start happening to these ICE kidnappers.
Embracing President Gonzalez, who's
There are 0 videos.
Up until day before yesterday as the properly elected president of Venezuela. And of course, Maria Machado, who won the Nobel Prize. I guess Trump's a little jealous of
No,
that.
this is anti-Nazi stream. These Nazis are just here so I can curse them, and I can curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through them. So cursing all the Nazis, cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through the Nazis.
And rebuild Venezuela. I haven't seen a plan for that. I haven't seen an authorization from Congress for that. And nor do I think Trump could get it. And so
Watch what we do in June, buddy. He ain't doing shit in June. Trump's not even going to be here in June.
But thus far, you can see why secrecy was paramount.
Your concentration
As with
camps.
The operation to kill Bin
You're
Laden,
kidnapping people. Put
Congress
in.
couldn't really be involved, given its reputation for leaks, for example.
Well, I don't think Congress leaks.
Let's talk about the
for
concentration
the top
camps Trump's
4
making.
members of Congress. That being said, the question isn't about the first part of the operation. That's completed, and Congress wasn't briefed. The more important part is the anticipated invasion and occupation of Venezuela, and you can't blame Congress.
Well, I found that YouTube says there's one person in here, and there's like 5 people
The only people
currently commenting.
from Venezuela's vast oil
It's like
reserves
y'all don't
so
matter.
far
It's
are
like the
Maduro
3/5 compromise.
administration
Y'all don't
and
count
China.
for people.
If the US moves in and takes
Alligator
control of
Auschwitz.
that oil industry,
Yeah.
and if some of the profits are
Concentration
shared
camps.
more widely with Venezuelans, that has to be good news, doesn't it?
Well, not if it leads to a civil war in Venezuela that kills tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. As to China,
Absolutely, but
China's-
there is no evidence at the moment that the mood is for a civil war, is there?
we know that the United States plans to invade, and we know that some Venezuelans very much oppose that. Whether there will be a guerrilla war, I don't know. Nor does Trump.
You won't get a chance
As
to have
China,
vote for JD
China
Vance. He'll get impeached
generally
too.
pays the world price for oil, and so anything that increases world oil production helps bring that price down. Whether we'll see an increase anytime soon depends upon the facts on the ground, both in terms of whether American oil companies can actually extract more oil, and second, whether there's peace in the oil fields. But at this stage, we've done the part that we're particularly good at. I won't call it the easy part, but it's the part that's easy for us compared to invading, occupying, and rebuilding a country.
I'm not going to your state, but I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you.
First, I want
You a
Trump to
NASCAR
come
fan?
before Congress and lay out a plan. One possibility is that we leave things alone. A second possibility is that we recognize,
You a
as we
turning
did
pointer?
2 days ago and all through 2025 and much of 2024, that Gonzalez was elected president in the middle of 2024. And this idea that the president says nobody respects him and
What if we find
his
out
chief
Kamala was
actor,
elected
Lorraine
president?
Machado, because he looks at Machado and says nobody respects her. That's a fairly sexist comment, if nothing else, or seems to be motivated by sexism. So Venezuela has an elected government. Venezuela
You were a
also
Charlie
had
supporter?
a dictator.
So you already got a
dictator
taste of the
is gone.
curses.
If the elected government were there, that would make a lot more sense than the United States invading. And I think that Venezuelans will be suspicious.
Just cursing the
of
Trump
their
Putiners in
story.
comments. Cursing
That was
Trump and
Brad
Putin and
Sherman,
Netanyahu through him.
Democratic congressman who sits
All right,
on
we heard the
US
Democrat
Foreign
side. Let's
Affairs
go.
Committee, talking to me shortly before we came on air
Bye,
today.
Nazis. Hope you
As I
never come
mentioned,
back.
We have with us throughout the program 2 guests. Julia Buxton's in the studio. She's professor